Hey everybody, David here, and today I'm going to be talking about The Flash, Season 6, Episode 1, Into the Void. That's right, The Flash is back, and look, I'm gonna say that this was it was a good episode. That's what I'll say. It wasn't the best season premiere I've seen, it wasn't the worst, but it was a fine start. It was an average episode, I think, at best. And for that, yeah, I was hoping for a little bit more, And of course, this episode takes place a couple months after the season finale from last season, which was really good. And we see Barry and Iris dealing with the death of Nora, who they had lost, right? And I thought that was all fine and dandy, but I was just kind of hoping for a little bit more in terms of the threat this week. I was hoping for a little bit more on like who's the villain going to be. I think they kind of set that up in this episode, which kind of confused me. We had a new character introduced. I don't remember the character's name. Dr. Ramsey Russo. Russo or Russo? Anyways, yes, he was the actor who actually played Mohinder in the TV show Heroes. If you guys remember that TV series back in 2006, it had Milo Ventimiglia, who went on to do This Is Us. He was in that show as Peter Petrelli, and the actor that we saw playing Ramsey was Mohinder in that show. So I think I do remember a casting announcement that he was joining The Flash. I just must have forgot about it because when I saw him, I was like, "Oh, it's Mohinder from Heroes." Yeah, he's a really nice addition. I just don't know what his character is going to be doing so far. It looks like he might be the villain. But I was a little confused by Godspeed in the beginning of this episode. I don't know why Godspeed was all of a sudden running around in our city, or in Central City, and then all of a sudden he's not that important right now because right now everybody who's been coming out of wherever has been turning out to be decoys or something. People just yelling nonsense. I don't know. I was confused by the whole Godspeed thing. I don't know if there was something I missed from last season that I'm just forgetting, or did they make it clear in this episode because I didn't catch it. But fine. Okay. Maybe Ramsey will eventually become Godspeed down the line. I don't know who the actor is playing, but it does seem like he's going to be the ultimate threat this season. I also did not care much for Killer Frost's storyline in this episode. I thought her still struggling on who should be in control, who whatever. I'm done with Caitlyn's storyline. I like Danielle Panabaker as this character. It's just whenever they try to factor Caitlyn in the storyline with her and Killer Frost, it's like I don't care anymore. I just turn into Killer Frost and kick some ass. That's all we need you to do at this point. And give us some exposition once in a while. I don't know. They need to find a better storyline for her character because, yeah, right now I just feel like we're going back and forth with the same storylines. Cisco was cool. It was great having him as well as Cecile and Joe. Always great to have those characters involved in some way or another. I like Caitlyn too, and I don't want anybody to get it wrong. It's just this whole thing with her and Killer Frost. It just feels like didn't we do all this last season? I just feel like they're repeating storylines with her. Ralph. Great to have him back. Obviously, when he was first introduced in season 4, I was annoyed by Ralph. I was doing episode reviews back then, and you can go and check those early episode reviews out when Ralph had entered the picture. And yeah, I did not like Ralph when he was first introduced. Obviously, I think they found a nice balance with him with the comedy and all that, so I think he fits really nicely now into the show. He obviously brings that levity. And then there was that little tease at the end for Crisis, right? I think that was the best part of the episode for me because it was giving us something to look forward to for the rest of the season. Because now, although I'm a little confused, because now the Monitor is telling Barry that he has to die, but we know that Oliver made a deal with the Monitor in last year's crossover. So I'm curious. Is this a bait and switch that they're trying to trick us with? That Oliver is. I guess we'll have to see next week, because that's when Arrow comes back. Arrow comes back next Tuesday, and I guess they'll give us more clues on what the Monitor and Arrow are doing together. But from my understanding, Oliver made a deal to leave Barry and Kara out of it. Now, the Monitor, I don't remember him appearing on Supergirl this week. I do wonder if he will eventually, because if they are hinting that Barry is going to die, in the comics, Supergirl dies in the Crisis on Infinite Earths comics also. So, but they haven't teased that in Supergirl's show yet, anyways. So we'll see. And they are already saying December 10th is the day. December 10th is one of the days when Crisis on Infinite Earths airs. So whatever they're cooking up, I'm curious about it, definitely. I think a lot of people, including myself, are still on board with Oliver dying. That Oliver is going to sacrifice himself. So I don't know why they're still teasing Barry. We know they're not going to do the Flash without Barry, unless they pull a trick out of their hat and surprise us. And you guys didn't think we were going to kill the Flash, but we did. I just don't see them doing that still. You don't continue your show without your lead. And you set up in the beginning that Grant Gustin is your lead. We know you're not going to kill him off. I think this is more setting up for a shock twist for people that are not in the know or not aware of that Oliver is going to be the one that died. But if everyone saw last season's crossover, you get the idea and the impression that it's going to be Oliver that's going to die. I don't know. It's just it's dumb to me that what they're trying to make us think that Flash is going to die, but we know, and it's confusing with the deal that Oliver made last season. Hopefully Arrow might clear this up. Maybe there's some altercation to the deal now that Oliver's doing whatever it is he's doing on his show. So we'll find out. And maybe that's why they pushed Arrow for next week instead, to make us guess what's going on with that end of the bargain. So I don't know. We'll find out. And look, this was a good episode, though. I thought it was a fine episode back. I was expecting more, but for what it's worth, it wasn't terrible. And I'm glad about that, because I don't want this show to go anywhere near what Season 4 was. I think Season 4 of The Flash was the worst. As long as the show doesn't get to that level again, I'm happy so far with what we got. I think it's a fine start. So with that being said, I hope you guys like this video. Please comment below and leave down your thoughts on The Flash, the beginning of an all-new season, episode 1 of Season 6. And yeah, when there's some episodes that I want to talk about, I'll talk about them here. If I don't, I'll definitely talk about the crossover, and I'll definitely talk about the series overall once the season ends. So here you go, episode 1, all new beginning. Not entirely new, but you know what I mean. Until next time, take care.